Welcome to G-Spot, the podcast. I am your host, Gina, international expander to humans, best-selling author of P.S. I Love Me, kink, eros, and business activator, and your favorite DJ G-Spot. I'm on a mission to explore the intersection between consciousness, kink, transformation, and humor, unlocking pleasure and liberating souls along the way. This podcast is for anyone ready to step into their sexual liberation, personal transformation, and fullest expression, all whilst having a wild and hilarious time. Welcome to another episode of the G-Spot podcast, and thank you so much for the warm messages and shares that came from listening to the first episode. I appreciate you all so much. If you haven't already left a comment on Apple Podcasts, I highly recommend to do that. That would help us out so much. And if you haven't already sent this to a friend, then go ahead and do that. So in this episode, I am doing a very inspired solo cast all around this concept of becoming a birth doula and a death doula simultaneously. And this is something that has been happening for me all year, even when in what I was calling the ecstatic void, I was also feeling so much rebirthing. And this is a skill that can be cultivated. This is where we get to pray in the morning, do emotional release in the morning. This is where we get to be in our depression, in our funk, in our what the frick is happening in life. And then in the afternoon, we get to be in, let's go get it. We are privileged humans. We are here on this earth, incarnated as humans. And we have a message, we have a reason, we have a purpose, and how can we support each other to go out there and really use our God-given gifts in the afternoon. So this was something that this week I had the absolute privilege, and being in Austin, it's a typical day in Austin, I happened to get invited to go and see Marianne Williamson speak live. And it was so incredible. It was such a transmission. It was so needed. It also really spoke to the big shift that's already happened in me. And I am sending this out to you and hoping that a big shift is happening in you too. So I'm going to go ahead and presume that you've been going through it this year. If you haven't, then I bow to you. I celebrate you. Most of my friends, clients, family, everyone has been really been put through the paces this year. And I think it's really reflecting on the outside in terms of the state of the planet right now, with the elections, with the wars, with the natural disasters, with friendship circles breaking up, with best friend breakups, with so many relationship breakups happening right now. Yeah, I really hope that this is shifting for you as it is for me. And one of the things that I am doing at the moment is called Decisive December. And I'm throwing it out there as a concept for you as well. And, you know, it can be Decisive January. So Decisive December is where we really get to recommit to what we already know makes us feel good. So for me, this includes going to bed at 10 p.m., meditating before bed to wind down rather than scrolling. It involves setting intentions for the next day. This involves bringing in the 101 of all the healthy habits that we know work for us. So I want you to pause this for a moment. Just take a second, write down what are the things that you've already learned and done in your life that make you feel so damn good. And this was actually inspired by me rereading my own book, P.S. I Love Me. I read like half of it. Well, I listened to half of it in the bath, and it was so profound because I've come a million miles since then. And maybe you have too. Maybe you've already read the book. Maybe you haven't. And I'm so advanced. I'm so, like so far beyond these self-love basics. And yet when I realized, I was like, yeah, but I'm not doing the basics. I'm not doing the basics. So I'm bringing back in the basics. And it was so trippy listening to myself in the bath, talking about the things that I've been realizing this week, the big downloads and big realizations that I've had this week. And I wrote them in my book word for word 4 years ago. So super trippy for me. And I recommend, if you haven't read the book, to go read P.S. I Love Me. If you have read it, dig it out, have another read. It is going to inspire you. It's going to get the foundations in place. It's going to get you moving and shaking, grooving and being in doing it energy. And that is what the energy of 2025 is. So I recommend to go have another listen. How would it feel? And this is a theme that I've been seeing across the board. This is the theme of a lack of self-trust, where self-trust used to be, and then things have happened in life and we've got jaded and we've trusted our intuition and we've trusted our guidance, and then it hasn't worked out and it hasn't worked out. And it's like, take 10, take 20, take 30. And it's like, how can I trust it? And this is a major, major, major problem for humans. So right now, I'm going to ask you to just feel into this. If this is you and you've been second guessing yourself or not trusting your decisions or not being that majorly decisive person. And I'm going to invite you to put this version of you that has forgotten in the back seat and call forward this part of you who is wise, this part of you who knows, this intuitive knowing, this ancient wisdom where you can literally close your eyes and tap into collective consciousness. And it's almost like the iCloud above us of collective consciousness that has all of the answers. And so I invite you to invite this part of yourself back into the driver's seat. And this really aligns with Decisive December, because it's like, instead of like, I don't know, I'm not sure, it's like, boom, I'm doing it. I'm trusting it. I'm going with it. I'm aligning my energy to it. And if it doesn't work, we're okay, but we're going for it. And I've been doing this in my life after a challenging summer of being like, wow, how can I trust myself when I got it so wrong? And it just feels so, so, so good. And it also feels like the version of me that wrote that book, P.S. I Love Me, she was decisive. She was in the game and she was the one using these self-love foundations. Also, in Decisive December, it also includes a lot of pleasure. So it also includes daily pleasure practices. And this means really tuning in with the body and being like, what does the body want? What does pussy want? What does my heart want? What does all of my system need and want? And creating a space every day to actually give my body what she wants. And so maybe, just maybe, you haven't tuned in with your body today. So I invite you to place your hand on your heart and another hand on your genitals. Close your eyes and breathe into that. And just simply say, what? Well, I'm going to go with pussy because I'm guessing a lot of you are female, but however, there is a lot of males that listen to my podcast. So I'm so glad to have you here, but I'm going to go with pussy for this one. So placing your hand over your genitals and asking, what does pussy want? And the answer may not be logical. And that's okay because she ain't logical. So take a deep breath. And if you're not hearing anything, I invite you to pause this recording again. So pause the recording candidate and just listen. Just listen. Maybe you want to journal. You can also do this with one hand over your heart. What does my heart desire today? And again, might not be logical. So I like to do this before a pleasure practice. And a pleasure practice simply means bringing loving touch to the whole body. It doesn't have to be sexual, can be sensual. It's great to light candles, incense, have nice lighting, wear something nice, maybe some body lotion or some coconut oil, and don't go straight for the genitals. So this is where we get to see what the whole body wants. And maybe that is the face, the head, the arms, the hands, the chest, and going through the whole body using a range of touches. So it could be very gentle, soft strokes, like an energetic touch. It could be more of a massage. It could be like tapping or banging on your body. But the key is it's not your mind telling your body what he or she wants. It's your body telling the rest of you what it wants. So I invite you, if any of this resonates, to go ahead and choose in to Decisive December. If you're doing it, send me a message on social media and say I'm doing it. Let me know what that involves for you. Maybe get a girlfriend to do it with or a boyfriend. And choose some things and stick to it. Stick to it, get your intuition in the front seat, and get yourself a pleasure practice. And one of the very first exercises in PS I Love Me is creating one healthy habit in the morning and noticing the knock-on effect that happens throughout the day. And that's where this whole thing came from. And it was about waking up early because your girl has been hanging out and I'm such a night owl. Sometimes I go to bed at like 3 a.m. If I don't make myself go to bed early, I will go to bed at 3 a.m. and wake up at 10. So this was about coming back to the healthy habits, the habits that feel conscious. And immediately, as soon as I made this choice, my vibration went up, everything started to shift again. Oh, I meant to tell you, by the way, I'm offering at the moment some one-to-one, one-off sessions. So usually for coaching, and I've been coaching the whole way through this dissolving, by the way. So when I talk about dissolving my whole business, I've still been coaching people one-on-one. When I talk about dissolving the business, I'm talking about letting my team go, although I still have Misha, of course, my ride or die, and letting my team go, letting all the platforms go, letting all the scaling go, and just come back to the very, very basics. So I've still been helping people with business all through the summer, helping them smash it. So if that's you, you know the drill. I coach on business, I coach on sexuality, I coach on self-love, I coach on getting the thing done, getting in your purpose, I coach on money and abundance and the money codes. And there is openings for one-to-one coaching on a bigger scale for 3 or 6 months. And there is also some one-off one-to-one sessions available right now for a special rate. So if that's you, reach out to me. And as I told you, I will be opening Multi-Orgasmic AF very, very soon. So if you haven't had that sex education that involves having multiple orgasms and full body orgasms and squirtgasms and throatgasms and analgasms and all the million things that a woman's body is capable of, if you are in the clitoral sneeze orgasm club and you want to expand, then that is for you. It will blow your mind, your socks, your lovers, yourself, your body. It will completely change the game. So I'm super excited for that to be open again. And I think that's it for today. So thank you so much for listening to this mini session. It was a total inspiration moment right before I'm going out. So it had to be said immediately. So remember this: birthing and dying simultaneously and not getting stuck in the eternal low point or the eternal depression or the eternal not knowing what to do. Do that, honor that, and then get in action. And also ask your friends that are doing great things, how can I support you? And hopefully some people will ask you too, how can they support you? So I hope this podcast has been supportive for you. It's certainly such a joy to do and to give these tips and this transmission. And you can support me by subscribing and leaving a comment and sharing with a friend or sharing on your Instagram. I would highly appreciate that. And I'm sending you so much love and Decisive December vibes. Mwah! Thank you for tuning in to the G-Spot podcast, where pleasure meets purpose. If you loved this episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and send it to a friend who you know will love it too. Until next time, stay turned on. With love, Gina.